Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Welcome to the KillJoy Jake YouTube channel, where instead of having friends, we have horror movies. We're talking a little bit about some crazy horror news from this past weekend, and a bunch of other stuff that's coming up. We have a brand new horror movie this week called Presence from Neon. We just had Wolfman this past week to talk about, as well as Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, and there's some fat cock wins happening over on our Kick page here. So, so just in case you were having a lot of small wiener losses, well, ladies and gentlemen, we got some fat cock wins over on Kick, where I am also streaming now. So in case you're like, you know what, I just don't feel like streaming KillJoy Jake on YouTube anymore. Well, there's a whole nother place that you can stream old Jake. That's a little self-promotion there. We're going to get off that topic and finally talk about some horror movies here. Like Gunner is talking about, I've come to a conclusion with Joel McHale's character. There are two dots for him. One of two things: an innocent guy who gets murdered in the middle of the movie, or just he's the straight-up killer. I mean, I'm with you there pretty much 100% of the way, man. I can't see... I could see him being like the opening scene. You know, I could see him being like the opening of the movie. But I kind of want to see his relationship with Sydney. I mean, if we're talking about a brand new character, we are talking about the husband to Sydney Prescott. I kind of want to meet the guy. You know, I'm curious what he's all about. I think if he's not the killer too, I think he's an excellent choice for a red herring to build up, like, oh, maybe it's him, and then it's not. So there's a lot of opportunity to do with that character. I hope he's not just an opening kill scene. I had a lot of comments about that on my last video, because I said he's either going to die in the middle of the movie and he's going to be this innocent, boring character, or he's going to be an obvious ghost face. And everyone was like, well, what if he's the opening kill? And I'm like, I don't see that. We gotta meet this guy. You know, we gotta have some character with him. He's Sydney's husband. I strongly doubt that. I would be pretty shocked to see Joel McHale in the opening, though. So maybe that's a good thing. Shock is what we want. Shock and surprise. Alexis Akulik, thank you for being a member. Saying rule number 1 in Squid Game: never trust player 1. If that's a spoiler, so help me God, Alexa, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna lose my mind a little bit because I'm only on episode like 5. How many episodes of Squid Game season 2 are there? I don't even remember. No, my fact checker's got nothing. Shot by Shot is saying, Jake, have you thought about writing a feature film adaptation of Chicken Man? If so, when could we expect an Indiegogo for it? I'd love to donate and support it. It's coming. I have the whole idea laid out. Like, I know exactly what I would want to do for it. Big thing as of right now is I just want to, I kind of want to just take some time to let the skit marinate a little bit here on YouTube. I want to have like a fully fleshed out script too. Like we have the plan. We have like little idea sheet basically of everything that's going to happen down in the film. Just actually sitting down and writing it is going to take some time. I also want to get this channel up a little more before we try to run another Indiegogo campaign. We struggled to get 5,000 for Red Right Hand. We did it, which was awesome, but it was a little bit of a struggle. It took a lot of phone calls, a lot of extra work there, and to make the movie that we would want to make with Chicken Man, it would definitely take a lot more than $5,000. We learned that the hard way with Red Right Hand. So hopefully sometime soon, but you probably won't see even the campaign until like next year is what I'm thinking. Cat Bread is saying, is Terrifier 4 Valentine's Day themed? I want to see him dressed as Cupid, and I want to see a heart arrow kill. Damn it. I do too, Catbread. Today I talked a little bit about that, about what if, you know, what's the holiday theme for the next one. Speaking of surprising comments, I'm getting a lot of people who are saying they do not want to see a holiday for Terrifier 4. Like, they don't want that, don't even remotely want it to be set on a holiday for the next movie, which I'm kind of shocked by. I'm kind of like, honestly, I'm a little shocked by that news, because at least for me personally, I just think that when slashers are tackling holidays, we're finding any way to get new slasher movies out. That means they're popping. And you know, the holiday theme is just a relatable way to get somebody into a slasher, with familiar tropes, you know, things that might bring someone to the theater because they're like, oh, well, you know, I like Christmas and I like this other Christmas slasher from the past. Let's see what this is all about. So to me, I kind of like the idea of giving the Terrifier treatment to different holidays, to give different kind of kill ideas for Art the Clown, opposed to, you know, maybe repeating something that he's already done before. Like, you know, in a lot of ways, I remember when Terrifier 2 came out, people were talking about, well, you know, this is just a higher budget version of the first Terrifier. And it's like, yeah, and that's why it's awesome and that's why it rocks. But some people see that as, it's kind of just the same thing again. Terrifier 3 is without a doubt its own thing. And because of the holiday, you know, the characters are doing different stuff. The kills are a little different, a little more inspired. We literally have someone dressed up as Santa Claus getting ripped apart after being frozen with liquid nitrogen. So I think there's just a lot of opportunity for different holiday themes. I personally really want to see like Valentine's Day or St. Patrick's Day tackled next, with maybe like Easter being the final holiday. But it has been interesting to see those comments from people who are like, no, I don't want that. I don't want a holiday theme at all. I just want to go back to basics. So I actually might do a video on that later this week because that's really interesting to me, and I kind of want to dive deeper into that opinion. Shot by Shot has also just recorded a review for Chicken Man. I appreciate that a bunch, dude. I will definitely check it out as soon as it drops. I'm trying to watch all of them. I feel like I've missed some, but if you made a review, you posted anything about it. I mean, even if you posted a video saying it's fucking shit, I will watch it. I'll check it out. So I really do appreciate everyone who's covered it so far. It really does mean a lot to me. I've shared just about everyone that I've seen. It's been about like 3 or 4 reviews out there so far. So I'm really thankful for it. Thank you to everybody who watched it and made some content on it. I am hyped for for the monkey. Yeah, hell yeah, Lighting Ghost. Thank you for being a channel member, by the way. Yeah, dude, I'm really excited for the monkey. I'm worried, you know, because it's getting a lot of good praise. A lot of people really seem to like it. The trailer is awesome. But I said all of these same things about Longlegs, and I was very much so disappointed. So I don't know. I want to be excited for it, but I'm definitely going into it with a little bit of skepticism and maybe cautious a bit too, because man, I went into Longlegs expecting the best horror movie I've ever seen, and I got the silliest, goofiest crime thriller I think of all time. But we'll see. We'll see what the monkey's all about. I'm really excited to give it a watch here. And I hope it is. I hope it is very silly, because that to me is the most effective part of Longlegs. And I was watching it just thinking, I wish this had just focused entirely on the comedy elements, because that's what's really working about this. The Monkey seems to be that. The Monkey seems to be a film that is just focused on Oz's sillier side, and I'm all about that. That's the most effective thing about Oz Perkins films for me. I'm really excited to see him flesh that out a little more here in a Stephen King adaptation. I just read the story too, so I am super fresh on the Stephen King story, and I'm already seeing some elements of that here in some of the trailers we've been getting. I'm really excited for this movie, man. I think it's going to be good. RJ Skarenki, what's up, RJ? Already great to hang out with KillJoy Jake. You're too kind, RJ. You're too kind. Give you a big ol' hug if you were here. Jason Carpenter, thank you for being a member, saying ready to hang with my peeps. Got the day off tomorrow for snow/ice, enjoying some beers and ready to chat horror. Jake, you rock. You rock, Jason. I hope you're enjoying them beers. Drinking responsibly and having a good time talking some horror, man. I love it. I love it. I would say I'm celebrating dry January, but that would be a lie. Corey Tiger is saying, what's up? What's up? How's it going, dog? Welcome in, welcome in. Thanks for being with us. Hope you're excited for Scary Movie 6. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Jake, I'm watching 7 right now. Got The Thing next, then Carry On to cap off the night. I got you. I still haven't watched that yet. New movie on Netflix that's getting a lot of praise. I just haven't had time to sit down and watch it. I don't know what it is. Been watching a bunch of weird like artsy films. I just watched this movie called Red Rooms over on Shudder. It's a very it's very slow burn, like David Fincher inspired film, and it very much so does not show a whole bunch. And I can imagine some people walking away from it being like, well, why didn't they show that? That was so cool. And that's, I guess, kind of against the point a little bit, but I don't know. I'm mixed on how I feel about it. It's very, very well done. A very, very nice slow burn film that has some crazy effective moments, but it's interesting. I don't know. I recommend it if you like David Fincher movies, for sure. Speaking of 7, which we were just talking about there. Lighting Goes throwing $5 out there. Thank you for supporting the page, my friend. Really do appreciate that. Saying just watched Asriel and I am very confused. You want to talk about a simple movie, a very simple but effective movie. I really liked Asriel. This is just a post-apocalyptic chase scene starring Samara Weaving, and that's about it. That's all there is to this one, and that's okay. Sometimes that's all you need with a movie. This is a simple and effective thriller that I really enjoyed. Lends itself to a very perverse and what's the word I'm looking for here? Cryptic world. There's so much going on that you're like, oh, there's more to this than what they showed on screen, and that's keeping the cogs in my brain turning. So there's a lot about Asriel that I really enjoyed, even though I guess, yeah, I guess when I finished it too, that ending had me a little like, what? Like, what's happening here? That's crazy. But it's a very fun film. If you guys haven't seen it, very intense from the start to the end. I enjoyed it a bunch. But and any Samara Weaving horror, I mean, even if it sucks, I will watch it. Even if it sucks, frankly, her performance makes it for me. Except for The Babysitter too, where she's in like 5 minutes of it, and then I was like, why? You know, why would you say this is one thing and then have it be something else? Jenna Ortega carries that one though. Lightning Ghost, thank you for the 5. Appreciate you a bunch. Thanks for supporting the page. Mr. Rick, same to you, dog. Thanks for the 5. And thanks for being a member. Look, you guys are members and you're throwing super chats out there. I love you all. Thank you. Hugs and kisses. Moi. Saw Wolfman like this. Saw Wolfman like this so much. Watched it Friday and Saturday. How did you enjoy it? Oh, so did you like it? Is that what you're saying? Like you liked Wolfman, saw it, you watched it Friday and Saturday, watched it twice. You know, I definitely want to watch it one more time, but I'll tell you what, walking away from it, that first, like the Tuesday night that I was able to see it, I was just like, I don't know. It just didn't scratch the itches that I was hoping it would, I guess. Biggest thing for me is that when you're doing a story that's like inspired by The Fly, like you're telling me that this is going to be a slow burn, character focused, family drama with some tragic stakes. Let's mute that. There we go. I forgot to pull up a YouTube thing there, but excuse me for that. But yeah, I guess my big thing about it was I just don't feel like they were effective in what I was hoping, in those areas that I was hoping for. It has some really good moments, like it's sometimes it is, and then sometimes it's not. It's very inconsistent. I think that's my biggest criticism of the flick. But no, I did vibe with parts of it. You know, it's not awful. Like I think to say that that's worse than something like Imaginary or Night Swim or what's the AI movie, Afraid or whatever that Blumhouse pumped out. I mean, this movie is leagues better than something like that. So I really did I enjoyed it. Why I do have my criticisms though. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where I'm like, this could have easily been better. But I do appreciate a lot of the things that it was able to do. And I'm glad that it has its fans. Honestly, I'm really glad that a lot of people dug it. I said it in my review, and I'll say it again. I mean this wholeheartedly. I really see this as a turning point for Blumhouse, who I don't think has put out, you know, the highest quality of content in the last couple of years, in the 2020s, I should say, in general. And me personally, their last 2 releases, I've been big fans of. So I'm really hoping this trend continues with 2025. Nothing would make me happier than to see Blumhouse have a big comeback and have a bunch of really good movies this year, opposed to just a bunch of more stuff where I'm like, I know exactly how that's gonna go. The Woman in the Yard is one I'm worried about. You know, that's one where I'm like, I'm pretty on the fence. I'm like, that could go either way. That could be like this secret hit or just another movie that's you've seen 1,000 times. I don't know. I really don't know with that one, but I'm oddly excited to find out. You know, I'm oddly excited to see what's next from them, if they end up actually putting something out of quality or not. You know, same with Megan 2, Black Phone 2. Are these gonna be good movies? I don't know. We'll see. But Mr. Rick, thank you for the 5. Do appreciate you. I'm curious what you thought about Wolfman. You enjoyed it and you watched it twice. I do need to see it again. I will say I've only seen it once. So I definitely want to give it another shot for sure. And Mr. Rick, you're even gifted a membership out here. Thank you. That goes to Yasmer. What's up, Yasmer? How you doing? Welcome to the club. We're watching The Prowler on Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to watch a slasher that you might not have seen before, that is very underrated, kind of a hidden gem, we're watching that here on Wednesday. It's going to be a good time. So stop on by, members, for a member-exclusive stream this Wednesday for a little watch party. It's going to be fun. Definitely going to be a good time there. Paula Fitzhenry, what's up, fella? Welcome in, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Appreciate you. And by the way, if anyone's hanging out with us over on Kick, I am watching. I'm watching that chat a little closer than last time because it ended up blowing up a little bit last time with a bunch of people hanging out with us. And I missed a bunch of comments that were really silly. And I like silly comments, Paula and Coop de Oof. Saw Wolfman yesterday. Definitely weird and bland at the same time. Yeah, that's the thing for me. You know, it's just a really inconsistent film. At times I'm like, that really worked. That almost brought me to tears. That was really upsetting. And then other times I'm just like, no substance, not a whole lot of feeling, just a lot of going through the motions of a typical tragic family drama story. So I don't know. A lot of some good, some bad. I'm mixed on it. I'm really in the middle. But considering how some people are really loving it, some people not so much. Even someone who like me who kind of leans towards not loving it, I still have a lot of positive things to say. That's a big thing for me. I was not walking out of the theater of Wolfman saying, "Oh, this is their new imaginary." I can't wait to talk about all the talk about the big L that Blumhouse took, just like always. I definitely was not thinking that. It's much better than a lot of their previous editions. I'll get off the topic. It is just the freshest horror movie to talk about though right now. And now a lot of you have actually seen it too, which is cool. Now that it came out this past weekend. Jake, what's more exciting, A24 Backrooms or the Mandela Catalog movie? I'm really excited for A24, any kind of horror movie, I'll be honest, and them doing the Backrooms. I mean, like, it's a mixture of two things that are really hot right now that I personally have a lot of faith in. I think it's going to rock. So I'm really excited to see whatever A24 ends up doing with the Backrooms. I hope it's good. Really hope it's good. Mega Giants 89 is saying, "Hey everyone, hey Mega Giants, what's up? What's up? How you doing?" I talked to you already, Mr. Rick. No, I'm just kidding. Jake, I saw Wolfman last night. I really enjoyed it a lot. I don't understand why people don't like it. I'm really glad you liked it. Again, I'm leaning towards like dislike, but I have a lot of things I did end up liking about it after all. Even though I just feel like a lot of the stuff that was supposed to be emotional and supposed to be tear-jerking didn't really hit for me. These recent horror films should have been what Universal's Dark Universe concept was. Excited for the theme park, though. Brandon, I would have loved to have seen like a big connected universe of all the monsters. I mean, that's literally what they did back in the day. If you're hearing that and you're like, Jake, I'm so sick of cinematic universes. I hear you, but the Universal monsters kind of did it first, dude, all the way back in the day. And that would have been cool to resurrect that concept, I'm here for it. But Tom Cruise's The Mummy was not the way to do it, dog. Like, that was not... Why are we making this an action horror movie with Tom Cruise? And it basically felt like Mission Impossible, but there's a mummy running around. I don't know. That just didn't work for me in the same way that, like, the Brendan Fraser mummy movies did. So, that was just a big mistake in my opinion. It should have been a Conjuring movie. Realistically, if they wanted to build this into a big horror universe, you should have done something similar to The Conjuring, where it's like, here's all these characters and here's all these ways that this can expand with a bunch of different monsters, opposed to giving me a Tom Cruise action movie. It's just that just didn't blend very well in my opinion. The movie is amazing. I love the gore, but the ending had me scratching my head. Yeah, no, I totally feel you. Totally feel you there. Skonkalonk with the most terrifying profile picture I've ever seen in my life. I love The Substance. What about you? Did you like it? My favorite horror movie of 2024. Banger. Absolute banger. We were just talking, my sister and I were just talking about it. Big thing I was talking about was I feel like, to me, it's so powerful because it's just so in your face the entire time with its message. And sometimes I would hate that about a horror movie. I'd be like, that just doesn't work for me. But this film is pissed off. It has this punk rock attitude from start to finish about it. It's gorgeous, shot so well. A lot of great stuff about it. But I see we have a fella hanging out over on Kick here. What's up? How's it going there? Caseton53? What's up, dog? How's it going? Your stream is amazing. I think my friends would love it too. Would you mind connecting with me on Discord? I would love to share your stream schedule with them and chat about your streams. Is that fake? Well, I guess they're messing with me, Caseton. I thought you wanted to be my friend, but I guess not. Muhammad Usman, throwing a little super chat out there. Thank you so much. Didn't get any gory kills in a Wolfman movie. Yeah, I mean, like, kinda. It's one of those things where it's like, I guess we got to see some blood and gore, but not really. I mean, there's 2 kills in the whole movie. Two, maybe 3. Is there two, 3 kills, right? Yeah, I guess 3 kills technically. It's just, again, I think it was trying to do the emotional family thing a little more and just didn't end up really hitting on those fronts, which does make me very sad. I wish we could have had a more emotional story at its core, but ultimately, I just kind of left the movie feeling like, it tried to do a bunch of things, and I felt like all the things it tried to do effectively didn't really hit for me at the end of the day. Had it just picked a lane, had it focused on one thing, I think it would have been a better movie. But Muhammad, yeah, I think if you want a gory werewolf movie, definitely check out Werewolves from last year. I could not recommend that one enough. If you want just like a mindless, fun little action horror flick, that is Werewolves for you. Give that one a watch for sure. But thank you for the support. I appreciate you. Is it Tashawn Pitts? What's up? How's it going, fella? Saying, fun fact, in the script, Joel from Scream 2 was going to make a cameo in Scream 6 as the cameraman. I would have loved to have seen that. I really would have loved to have seen that, in fact. That would have fit so well in Scream 6, I think. You know, I remember before that movie came out, we were talking about how I think this movie is going to be like this Gale-centric slasher film, which I think it totally should have been, the more I think about it. As much as I like them focusing on the core four and building them up, I'm just thinking about where the franchise is now. You know, I'm like, we don't have the core four really anymore. They're broken up. I almost kind of wish they had focused on Gale Weathers, like a Gale focused Scream movie opposed to like a Sydney focused one, where someone's going after her in New York City. That would have been really cool because it was her stomping grounds. She's a big celebrity, so for something like that to happen, I think it could have totally flipped the script. I love the Scream 6 we have. It's one I'm one of the biggest Scream 6 defenders out there. I really do. I really do love a lot of what that movie ended up doing, but I think it could have been even better for the overall story of 6 to have focused on just Gale Weathers entirely. Maybe it would have built into something that we're going to see here in Scream 7, but we'll never know. We'll never know what that movie could have looked like with her and Joel running around. That would have been fun. Lightning Ghost throwing 5 out there saying, I enjoyed Wolfman. It probably is my least favorite thing from Lee, but definitely could have been better. I did like the Saw reference, though. That's one of my favorite parts. That was like, okay, that was fun. I liked that. I gotta admit, this is probably my least favorite Lee Winnell movie, which is, it really is upsetting because I think pretty much everything else he's touched has been really solid. Something really, really, at the very least, so worth your time to get through from start to finish. This one definitely felt a little bland, in my opinion. I mean, even something like Dead Silence, which I think is like maybe the next up on my list of things he's written. You know, if I had to rank everything he's made, Dead Silence would probably be towards the bottom. I would still say it's an underrated film, but it's just not my favorite. Dead Silence has like some just crazy artistry about it. Like some of the transitions in there are so early thousands it hurts, and I love that about the film. But yeah, this one, I don't know, just kind of bland. Didn't love it. But Lightning Ghost, thank you again for the 5. The Saw reference, you guys, if you haven't seen it yet, I think that's worth the whole film. that was one of the better parts of the movie for me, at least. Scott Royston is a member hanging out with us tonight. How are you, Jake? I'm fantastic. How are you? What's up, fella? What's up? The Mummy didn't work for me either, says Cody from the NRU and the trailer park, as the profile picture there would tell us. It's like putting Jason Statham into a horror movie. He should just stick to his action movies. Yeah, and same with Tom. I mean, I love Tom. You know, I love him in Mission Impossible and Top Gun Maverick and all that. But I mean, you know, does he fit in the Mummy movie? Maybe not. Put Brendan Fraser back in there, coach. Come on now. That's what I'm saying, Cody. And Lightning Ghost out here just killing it, man. Another $5. Thank you. The Rocka brothers said their film Bring Her Back is almost finished, and I'm excited to see what it's all about, but hyped for Talk To Me also. Yes, I'm really excited to see them do another original. You know, when they first announced that they were going to do a Talk To Me sequel called Talk To Me, you know, there was a part of me where I'm like, okay, you know, I guess I'll see it, but the first one was perfect how it was. I actually really like Talk To Me as just a standalone as well. I think that ending is one of my favorite parts about it. It's so creepy. I remember sitting in the theater watching that for the first time, just being like, this is like genuinely the most scary thing about this whole movie. There's been some excellent stuff that preceded it, of course. I really did enjoy Talk To Me, but that ending, in my opinion, sent it up into the stratosphere. I'm like, okay, this is actually one of the best horror films of the year after seeing how that movie ended. It was awesome. But Talk To Me, you know, I'm definitely going to see it. I think it's definitely going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure they're going to do it justice, but leaving it where that first one ended is just perfect in my opinion. I don't think it needs a sequel, even though I can totally see it being a franchise as well. But I'm excited to see them do another original, I guess, because again, that Talk To Me was such a strong film. I could see these guys being like the new directors to talk about, you know, the new YouTuber to filmmaker pipeline. It's like one of the biggest examples. I think like, you know, Fede Alvarez was that for a long time because he made that short film about the robots attacking people, and then like Sam Raimi saw it and was like, hey, this guy should do Evil Dead next. That would be cool. And here he is today making new Alien movies with apparently a sequel to Alien Romulus in the works. I don't know if you guys heard about that or not, but it's exciting. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they do next. I'm really hyped, especially for the standalone. Even though I'm sure Talk to Me is going to be a lot of fun too. Lightning Ghost, thank you for the 5. Cannot wait to see whatever Bring Her Back is all about. It's a very mysterious project. We don't know too much about it as of right now. VKD is with us too. What's up, Villain Killin' Dylan? What's up? See, you're excited for Scary Movie 6. Some good stuff there. Jason Carpenter loves Scream 6, and that is where you and I agree. Good evening, Jake. I think Scream 7 with the new Mark will be her husband, and Mark Kincaid from 3 will be her ex. That could be an interesting... It could be an interesting dynamic there if we get Patrick Dempsey to come back for another sequel at some point. You know, maybe it just didn't work out now, but maybe it could in the future. I could get into that. I could get jiggy with it. Jacob Wells is also saying, since the Scream franchise is owned by Paramount Pictures, do you think we could see, after this trilogy release, of like a Scream Ultimate Collection set with all of the movies together? You know, Jacob, it's interesting. I 100% yes, could totally see them doing something along those lines. But I do know that we have more movies to come. You know, I'm someone who I always buy box sets when there's still a new movie coming. Like, you'll notice on my set back here, like right there's a little Planet of the Apes box set. And it has almost all the movies, but not quite all of them. And it kind of bugs me a little bit. Because Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, for me personally, was one of my favorite movies. It's not a horror movie. It was one of my favorite movies of last year. I loved it. So I got the Steelbook, and it's cool, but man, I wish I had a box set of all 10 movies, which would be sick. So, but with Scream, it sounds like they want to do more movies after 7, especially if this one makes money, which it likely will. I know some people are very much so in the boat of it's not going to make money, but we'll see. We'll see about that. I know there's been some bad press with it, but if the film is of quality, I think it'll make money. That to me is that to me is always going to be the line that a movie needs to cross in order to be successful or not. But sometimes, you know, maybe it's just not super popular. Maybe, you know, the concept was too niche. I'm talking in terms of YouTube content at this point. But will we get something like this? Absolutely, I think at some point. I mean, heck, maybe even after 7's release, they could do something like this, even if they do plan to start a new trilogy or do more spin-off movies, whatever. But I would definitely look out for something like that. It would be fun. With 7 movies, you could make a big box set. Like I have the 7 movie box set for what is it called? Paranormal Activity 2, which is a really cool one. So maybe they could do something similar to that. That would be fun. It'd be a lot of fun, Jacob. I would dig it. I would dig it a bunch. And Scott Royston is gifting some memberships out here. Appreciate you a bunch, dog. Thank you. Who's that going to? That's going to Gangster Bro, Miami Vibes, Dashing Quinn. Oh, I like all these names. Y'all got some cool names on here. Miami Vibes. I'm Dashing Quinn. And Joshua Brooks. I feel like I'm reading off, like, the cast list of a new, like, gangster movie or something. I love it. And Polly DeSanders, which also fits with the theme. Excellent. Excellent names across the board. Great people to receive memberships for sure from Scott there. Well, Scott, thank you so much. Welcome to the fold, everybody. Sip up on the Kool-Aid. It's delicious, and there is nothing else in it, I promise. But Scott, really do appreciate you again. Thanks for being a member. Welcome to the club. Welcome to our club that is definitely not a cult. Maybe a little bit culty. You know, it's cult adjacent, one might say. Tanya in the D is saying, hey, Jake, love Dead Silence. I do too. I really enjoy Dead Silence. Very disappointed hearing about Wolfman. Love Lee Winnell's work. I'm excited about Companion. Yeah, you know, me too, but I will say, again, I can't stress this enough about Wolfman, and I'll shut up about it. It's definitely better than most Blumhouse releases out there. I'd see 100 more Wolfmen before I watch another Imaginary, you know? That's kind of, it's my feelings about it, but, you know, some people may feel differently. I remember seeing some comments from some folks who were saying, fuck this movie, you know, why did I even pay to see this? And I'm like, whoa, brutal. Damn, Thorns are coming out already. But I enjoyed it. I had a good enough time with it to be like, okay, that was worth going to the theater to see. But Companion looks like a lot of fun. That comes out right at the end of the month here. And before that, again, we have Presence at the end of this week, which I don't know if a ton of people are talking about this movie, but I'm really excited for it because it just looks like it's going to be something different. It looks like it's going to be a fresh concept, I should say. I think like the Conjuring movie, an Insidious movie, something along those lines, but it's from the perspective of the ghost or the entity. That looks like it's going to be fun. It's shot like in this very, if you've ever seen Gaspar Noé movies, it's shot in a very similar way to that, where it's not found footage, but it's from someone's perspective the entire time. That's probably the best way to to look at it. But I'm really excited to see what this is all about before Companion, which again is next week. Companion, I'm excited for it, Tanya, but like they kind of just gave away everything about it in that last trailer. Like I know how the whole movie is gonna flow, and it's disappointing because that first initial teaser they gave us was so weird and mysterious. You know, Sophie Thatcher's burning her hand or whatever over the candle, and Jack Quaid like points this gun at her. There's like this scuffle, but they seem to be in love. It's like, what's happening here? This is crazy. I don't know. I loved the way that first teaser was edited. It made it seem so mysterious. And then here comes this first like full trailer that just gives you everything about the movie. And I'm like, well, that sucks. I could have made it to the theater without a lot of that knowledge, but we'll see. You know, we'll see what this is all about anyways. I'm excited for it nonetheless. Scott saying that. Faith Dorn is with us. What's up, Faith? How you doing? Saying, hey, Jake. Hey, chat. Hope everybody is having a great Monday. Same to you. I hope you're having an excellent Monday, in fact. Who else is with us here? We got Lightning Ghost throwing another 5 out there. Thank you. What do you think they're going to do or where they might go with the Alien Romulus sequel? Genuinely, this is a big question because I think they can kind of go anywhere with it. They'll likely go to that planet, right, that they're talking about at the end of the movie. And I don't know, maybe there's some xenomorphs aboard their craft, you know, maybe something along those lines. I feel like we haven't seen the last of Evil Andy. Maybe that might be a hot take, but I feel like that's kind of a big thing we've set up with this character. If we are going to do more story with these people, I could totally see Andy having some, you know, maybe the company, Weyland Yutani, is somehow getting in there and fucking around with them, kind of like with what happened in the last movie. I like the idea that we have an android that is both a good character and a bad character simultaneously. It has always either been one or the other in the past, and Andy kind of is in this middle ground, which is really, again, makes him such a unique character, such an excellent addition to Alien. But I'm really excited to see where they go with it next. I think it's going to feel a little more like Aliens, you know, where maybe this one felt very Alien inspired. We're going to be on a planet this time, you know, maybe a colony of people just like aliens, and more aliens are going to come down from a slightly different situation, right? We're going to actually see that unfold, where in Aliens, it's a little more about like, we're getting there and during the aftermath, you know, after the aliens have already, you know, taken over an entire colony. Maybe this movie can be about the xenomorphs getting in there while, you know, there's this whole civilization of maybe, you know, like 70, 80 people are hanging around. Something like that could be really fun, because again, technically, we've never seen something like that happen on screen. It could just be a xenomorph massacre. Something like that would be a lot of fun, I think. But Lightning Ghost, thank you for the 5. I'll have to do a video on it soon, because it was really cool to see Fede Alvarez talk a little bit about it recently. Brian James Tube, what's up, Brian James? How you doing? Saying, KillJoy, I love you and your positive vigor for horror movies. Well, there's a lot of positive vigor where that came from, my friend. Let me tell you. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. I'm always there's always a horror movie to be excited about. That's the one thing I've learned about doing this page for so long. So lots of, trust me, there's, if you're just looking at Scream 7 on the horizon, I promise you there are more horror movies coming out just this year that you might be hyped for. And you want to talk about one I'm on the fence about, though. The Fly remake is his favorite horror movie of all time. I love the 1986 The Fly. Someone might have been asking about my favorite horror movie. That's my number 1. They are remaking it again, though. And that has me worried. Has me real worried here. A big old chicken, what's up, fella? Saying the first movie released, it was a big hit. So was Scream 5, so they made a sequel, releasing the next year, like Scream 2. And Scream 6 and Scream 3 and Scream 7 will release 3 years after the sequel. Yeah, you know, a lot of people are comparing Scream 7 to Scream 3, but I have this feeling like that it's gonna be a total departure from what we're expecting. I really think that there's a lot of people looking at 7 right now and they're like, oh, it's gonna feel more like the original Scream films. You know, it's gonna feel more like what they did in the 90s. And, you know, to me, I think what's great about Scream is that it is such a modern franchise. It's always supposed to be, you know, commenting or, you know, talking about the current space of horror. That's Scream at its core. And I feel like that's what we're going to get back to with Scream 7. Scream 7 is not going to feel exactly like 5 and 6, but I think it is still going to feel very modern, which a lot of people are not going to like. Because that's what Scream is. It is a modern horror franchise perpetually. It is perpetually going to be focused on the space, the current time, here and now. And just like how Scream 4 was a departure from 1, 2, and 3 because the space of horror had drastically changed in like the 10-ish years between 3 and 4. Same thing happened with Scream 5, and I imagine the same thing's going to happen with 7 here. So some people don't want to hear it. Some people are like, no, it's going to, trust me, it's going back to everything that Screams 1, 2, and 3 did. And I'm like, I don't know. Some things, sure, but not everything, man. I'm telling you, they're still going to have a lot of modern horror isms in there that some people are not going to like. But we'll see. Is Dead Silence 2 happening? It had so much potential to be horrific. I don't know. You know, that one thing that's for certain is that James Wan and Leigh Whannell are still absolutely on top here. I could see them revisiting one of these older ideas like this. Definitely wouldn't be the craziest thing ever. I mean, James Wan, his company is literally merging with Blumhouse right now, which is a horror giant. I mean, Atomic Monster is too, but you know, these two these two companies coming together to make horror movies, that's going to be nuts. So who knows? We might see a lot of different James Wan and Leigh Whannell franchises get some more sequels, some more continuations here soon. I mean, look at all the Insidious projects that are coming out, man. Oh my God, that is going to be, if it wasn't already, it's going to be continuously to be the flagship franchise for Blumhouse here soon. They got a spin-off and a sequel in the main timeline in the works. Richard B, what's up, fella? Saying, hey Jake, I got a Terrifier 4 theory. I think Jonathan's dad saved him. I'll always be with you line relates to both siblings, saving Jonathan because he doesn't have healing abilities like Sienna has. Now, that's really interesting. That could be cool. I feel like they're definitely going to do something with Jonathan in the next film. Whether that's, you know, he's dead and maybe his ghost comes back, or he's secretly alive. You know, he's been alive the whole time. Those are always fun reveals. And you know, the other thing too that someone pointed out is, well, Jake, you know, couldn't that skull be the little girl from the opening scene? We never saw her die, but like, couldn't it be that? It could totally be that. Sure. I would hope to see Jonathan in a future movie. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure what they would do with the character, but we do know that ghosts are a thing. You know, ghosts of Art the Clown is, that's something that's in play now after Terrifier 3. We got a little American Werewolf in London style ghost from Brooke begging for the rice to get passed. But I don't know. Are ghosts just hungry? You know, do they just want a ton of rice in this universe? What is happening here? No, I kid, of course. But I think Jonathan will be back in 4, just not in a way that one might expect. But Richard, I'm really excited to find out more about that, and to see what pieces of the puzzle all correlate into the next film. Exactly like what you're talking about there. Bro, where is the trailer for the Final Destination 6 movie? It's rumored released to be in May. We should be getting a trailer soon. Well, we got a lot of big releases, especially in the field of horror here. So some more stuff should be, we should be getting some more trailers here soon, I imagine. I would, you know, maybe wait until February. February, I feel like there's a lot of movies coming out where I'm thinking, ooh, I could totally see some big horror trailers being in front of these things. So Lighting Ghost throwing $5 out there saying, I'm going to go see Presence because it looks intriguing. The same reason why I checked out Azrael and In a Violent Nature. Hell yeah, dog. Presence, I will say, I hope it's not like, I hope it's eventful. That's something I guess I'm worried about. You know, it might be too slow of a burn. You're just following a ghost around a house the whole time. But I think at the same time, it has the potential to be something that is just completely insane too, you know? I think it has the potential to be one of those movies where I'm like, what the fuck is what is going on here? This is terrifying seeing it from the other angle, kind of like In a Violent Nature. Some people might disagree. But again, I really enjoyed seeing Johnny walk around the forest a bunch because I guess I just like boring things, you know? so maybe I will actually enjoy Presence for the same reason, but we'll see. Is it going to be this year's In a Violent Nature, but with ghosts? You know, reinventing the haunted house subgenre of opposed to what In a Violent Nature did by putting Friday the 13th up on its head. I don't know. We're definitely going to find out here soon, literally Thursday. So you guys will see a review for this one Friday morning, most likely. Don't see myself getting an early screener for this one, but I'm excited to watch it. I'm excited to watch it and put out some kind of review. So check that out on Friday. I'll have some more crazy videos before then, of course. But Lighting Ghost, thank you for the 5. Appreciate you. Go see it, and we'll talk Friday all about that one. A PNG Image is with us, throwing $2 out there. What's up, PNG? Saying Freddy vs. Art coming in 2093. I cannot believe we have to wait that long. I'm going to be honest. It's ridiculous. Come on. Way too long out here. It's like 100 years. It's not, but it's basically 100 years. Hopefully I make it to that point. PNG, thank you for the $2. I appreciate it. I want to see Freddy versus Art, baby. Let's go. Let's get a move on with this. Erica also just gifted 5 memberships. You guys are too kind out here. Really do appreciate y'all. Let me see if I can scroll down and get this. Those went to Splattercast, 13th Hour, and Sherlock. I don't know what's going on with that, but I dig it. The 13th Hour with Sherlock. That sounds like something nuts. Tyler Fratis, Akuma Saved Tekken, and John Norris. The theme for those 5 random people. Definitely some goofy names. I loved it. Splattercast, though, love my boys, Dylan and Luke over there. Some great stuff from them. We just had a chat about Wolfman. It was a good time. But Erica, thank you so much for gifting those memberships. I really do appreciate you a bunch. Thank you for modding tonight as well. Keeping the chat safe for everybody. Some good stuff out there. Good stuff, good stuff. Speaking of the chat, not a whole lot going on over at Kick. So again, you can follow old Jake on Kick if you wanted to. That's just KillJoy Jake on there. What even is my username? My Kick person who's sitting in the back of the room there. Is it just KillJoy Jake? Yeah? Okay. I should know these things. It's kind of my job. But go ahead, follow me on this new streaming service called Kick. It's like 2-3 years old, but it's new. It's new to me, okay? I'm an old man who still uses YouTube. Come on now. Coop is asking opinions on the Thing remake. They've been bouncing around ideas for this for so goddamn long. I really actually want it to happen, which might be a hot take. Or a continuation to the Thing, I should say, more or less. Because the Thing is perfect how it is. It does not need a remake. But you got to remember, going all the way back to like the mid-thousands, there was this little project that was going to happen. It was going to be the Thing sequel. And none other than Frank Darabont was going to direct it, like write and direct it. And for those who don't know, Darabont has done like some of the better Stephen King adaptations out there, like The Green Mile and Shawshank Redemption and The Mist. I mean, those 3 alone, those are some of the best Stephen King adaptations, without a doubt in my mind. So for him to tackle a sequel to The Thing is awesome. And I remember reading about it. It was supposed to take place like in the desert. It was going to be an Area 51 style setting. That sounds so cool to me. That's such a departure from what we know. Yet at the same time, I can totally see a whole story taking place somewhere like that. So I would love a movie along those lines, some kind of The Thing continuation. I mean, everything is getting legacy continuations and new movies. The Thing prequel obviously sucks, but that's because the studio was like, "Hey, let's use VFX. You know, let's do VFX that take like 2 minutes to get into," and that to me is just kind of that defeats the purpose of doing a continuation to The Thing. It should be all about practicals. But now with something like Terrifier so popular, you know, Terrifier is huge because of course it uses practical effects and VFX. In case Josh is watching out there, who wants some more credit for doing all the VFX on Terrifier 2 and 3, mad shout out to Josh Petrino. He rocks. He made Terrifier 2 and 3 look so good. I gotta say, we're in this day and age again of loving practical effects just like the 80s, and I really think that this would be a great time for something like that, a continuation to The Thing in some capacity. I don't think it, again, will it be as good as something like the original The Thing? Probably not, but I would love to see it nonetheless. Would love some kind of continuation. I don't need a new remake, though. I will say that. I'm not really interested in that. Give me a sequel. What happens after the events of that movie, you know? Maybe they get a sample of it and it's in a fucking government laboratory deep underground somewhere and it breaks loose, you know? I mean, I could see the whole story unfolding. It would be perfect. Could set up a whole trilogy, man. That would be fun in my opinion. What's going on here? I want to make a slasher film where the villain loves killing like art but talks and laughs maniacally. Check out the KillJoy the Clown franchise. you might be into that. I'd love to see The Thing apocalypse like they live. 100%. That's totally what I'm getting into here. Wouldn't that be sick? I mean, like, basically, The Thing-esque monsters, like, in the streets of, like, New York or something. Like, that would be so cool. That'd be a sick movie. It would need a crazy budget, but tell me you wouldn't want to see that movie, you know? Like, come on now. Will I do movie versus movie again? It was enjoyable. People are still talking about that series, and it makes me so happy. I put so much love into that series, and unfortunately, it just did not hit the way I wanted it to. It took so long to make those videos. Like, it took me a good week to make those, and I was only getting like a few hundred views on the last one there, and I'm just like, man, I really need these to do a little better. But I might bring them back. I might bring some sort of something along those lines back, because they were a lot of fun to do. I still have the referee costume, which, if you have not seen those 4 videos, I really think there's some of the better videos on this page. A big thing I would want to incorporate into that is maybe less me just talking about my opinion on these movies and more just like facts and interesting things about movies to get people to check it out. Because I think that was honestly one of the biggest things. Why do people watch movie channels? I think inherently a big answer to that question is because they want to learn something new that they haven't, maybe they just didn't know about a film that they love. So I'm trying to, in everything I do now, I'm really trying to incorporate that, just so my content has a little more value than just another dude on the internet giving his opinion about movies. Because in that case, I feel like you're actually taking something away from it, opposed to just being like, that guy's right about movies, or that guy's opinion is trash about movies. which is most movie content on YouTube. So I guess I'm just trying to strengthen that up a little bit. Maybe I can find a way to reinvent that series. Jake, what are some theories you have on the next Chucky movie Don Mancini is writing? I really hope it's a return to form. I think if any franchise needs it more, it's Chucky right now. I would love to see like a back to basics, chill Chucky movie where it's just a simple plot again. Maybe something close to, the original Child's Play, or even Curse of Chucky. I really enjoy. From all the modern Chucky stuff, that's probably my favorite thing, which maybe that's a hot take, maybe that's a weird, maybe some people are hearing that and they're like, Jake, no, like that movie sucks. I don't know. I love it. Out of the last couple of Chucky things we've gotten, that's probably been my favorite, from I guess like the new wave of Chucky, right? That kind of all gets roped together a little bit. Curse of Chucky, easily my favorite. So I would hope that they go back to something a little more grounded like that, while still having a touch of goofiness. It is Child's Play at the end of the day. It's got to be a little silly, but when that's the only thing pushing your plot, like a lot of the TV show, that's when it kind of loses my interest personally. So I'm really hoping to see a more grounded story with some, maybe a little touch of that nonsensical Chucky fun to it. But let's see what they end up doing. I hope it's something good, something tight. I don't know. Something tight. I'm going to end it on that note, because tight things are good things. And I really hope someone quotes me on that, because I think it's hilarious. Mason Snelson is saying, any other rumors on the solo Kirby project? Not a ton. We had that announcement from Production Weekly, which is where this all came from. That's all where all the the talk of this stemmed from, and we haven't really had much talk about it. I imagine that when we get closer to Scream 7, some more rumblings will come out about this. Like, let's say the early projections for Scream 7 are really positive, like, oh, this movie's gonna make a ton of money. They will totally pump out some more news on that, and who knows, maybe we get some rumors in the meantime. Because rumor has it right now they're not only working on this, but they're also working on a Scream 8. So like another film right after Scream 7. I'm excited. I'm really excited to see this Kirby solo project. I feel like it's going to be something different, which again, I can't stress this enough. I think Scream needs so bad. I would love to see a Scream film that just really swings for the fences. I mean, something that's just completely different than anything we've seen before. And hey, if it fails, it fails. But I would just love to see them really try. Really just not dip their toe into that pool like they did with Scream 6. But I would hope that they just dive in head first. See what happens. You want a problem child versus Chucky? That's really funny. Both kind of comedies, both have a little bit of a similar edge to them. Art the Clown has never killed someone who didn't deserve it. I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know if the clerk at the the shop in Terrifier 2, I don't know if he deserved it. He was a chill guy. I had nothing wrong with him. Allie, like most of the people don't deserve it. I feel I'm almost on the opposite end of that. Jake, which do you prefer, Jason Takes Manhattan or Halloween Resurrection? I'm a Myers fanboy, but I got to go with Jason Takes Manhattan. I have definitely seen Jason Takes Manhattan more times. Do with that information what you will. I will say Halloween Resurrection, I feel like is one of those. It's one of those movies that you might actually like it. You might not hate this movie, only because it feels so like 90s slasher. So some people I think could really get into it for that reason. Darjan, who is a very close friend of mine, has been on the page a few times now. He loves Halloween Resurrection, and I like to make fun of him a lot for it. No, Halloween Resurrection, I don't know, it's not It's kind of awful, but like in a good way. It's a very fun movie, and I think the same about Jason Takes Manhattan. If we're looking at the positives of these two movies, they are both so bad it's good. In both cases, in very different cases too. But I actually really enjoy both these movies for some dumb reason, right? But they are ultimately probably some of the worst movies from their own respective franchises. Is Jake tight? Well, that's the question of the night, isn't it? You may not know. The world may never know. You sound like you want to answer that question, Madison. Please don't. Bring back bracket streams or else. Man, people are digging through the catalog tonight. People are like, I want this back. I want that back. Well, I don't know. Listen, man, we're doing a bunch of weird stuff again on the page. It's getting weird in 2025. That's how I like it. So we'll definitely get it a little. We'll definitely get a little weird tonight. You know, we'll definitely get a little. What? Huh? We'll get a little kinky with the channel moving forward. But bracket streams, I would love to bring those back. Speaking of Darjan, we did a bunch of those together, and it was honestly some of the most fun streams I think we've had. Some like nail-biting close calls with certain brackets. I will say the one thing I will not do again is a Scream-centered bracket, because it, like, every time the most expected answer came out on top, and I was just like, okay, guys, like, who's the best Ghostface? Of course Stu Macher won. Like, it's like, man, you know, spice it up. Let's talk about somebody else. I love Stu, and he's great, but I was just like, man, come on now. We got to have someone out there who's rooting for Jill or Roman or Charlie or Billy even. It's crazy. So I might not do another Scream-centric one, but maybe like a slasher-centric bracket next would be fun. Lightning Ghost, thank you for the $2. I will that in the Versus series, I'm going to find a way to bring back somehow. We'll figure it out. Figure it out somehow. Anthony Morano is saying, what's up, bro? What's up, Anthony? You're looking fucking jacked. Saying, need some new horror ASAP. Wolfman isn't really my thing. Waiting on a Final Destination Bloodlines trailer. If you're hyped for Final Destination, I highly recommend going and seeing The Monkey, which is just like, what is that, 2-3 weeks out? It's like the top of February. Very similar to Final Destination in the sense that it's about a lot of people dying in just very awful and ridiculous ways. So if that's your vibe, if that's something you want to see more of, I definitely recommend seeing The Monkey, which comes out, like I said, in just a couple of weeks. It's based on a Stephen King short story, too, so again, another good reason to go see it. Comes from Oz Perkins, who did Longlegs from last year, and I'm excited for it, but I'm definitely going into it with hesitation because I don't think I love the Longlegs. I'm very on the fence about it still. But I think this movie's going to be better. I really have a lot of faith in this one because it looks like it's focusing hardcore on a lot of the things I liked about Longlegs, opposed to the things I did not. So definitely check that one out if you're excited for Final Destination Bloodlines. I think this movie has the potential to be even better. Key words there, has the potential to be, but maybe might not. I don't know. We'll see, Anthony. But definitely tell me, let me know if you're excited for that movie, and if you do end up seeing it, give us a little review. That's why we do all this crazy shit after all. Fort Misery Gaming, what's up, fella? Are you going to see Presence this week? Yes, I already got my tickets. I'm ready to go. Definitely going to see it on I'm seeing it this Thursday, and you guys will see a review for it Friday morning. So really excited for that one. I think it's going to be fun. You know, Wolfman was kind of a disappointment. And Peter Pan, it's weird. Like, all the movies this year, my expectations of them have not met what the actual film was. I don't know if I had low expectations for Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, but I guess I wasn't expecting it to be my favorite from the TCU so far. Like, that is easily my favorite film in the Twisted Childhood universe, and it really kind of blew me away. I'm going to be honest. So that's my favorite horror film of the year so far, and Wolfman kind of fell below my expectations a little bit. So Presence, I'm really hoping is a banger, but who knows? I mean, at this point, 2025 horror, we just can't predict it. Like my two movies that I've seen this year so far, were not what I expected at all in both cases. So who knows what's happening? Jake, have you heard of the Outlast movie by Lionsgate? Gangster Bro, I might have to do a video on this. I want to thank you guys for a ton of views on that video I did on the Until Dawn movie. Did not think that would get a lot of love, and it's currently sitting pretty at 7,000 views. So thank you guys so much for that. I really did not think that would get as much love as it did. Doing better than my Scream updates. I'm like, shit, okay. I will gladly talk about Until Dawn. That's awesome. I might be the only person in the world who's excited for it, but nonetheless, I just appreciate you guys watching it, so thank you. But I think I'm definitely going to talk about some more video game horror movies. I'm definitely going to focus a little more on that. I feel like my page is finally at a point where I can talk about more things than just one franchise and get views on it. So definitely want to talk about Outlast. I want to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's for sure. Want to get into the sequel for that one. I have a lot more faith in the sequel than the original film. So lots of good horror movies based on video games coming out soon here. We are, ladies and gentlemen, we are in a golden age of video game movies in general. We've definitely gotten some of the best ones just in the last like 5 or 6 years or so. Mason is saying, did anyone else hear that Final Destination 6 opening could be centered around one of the restaurants in the sky thing? I've heard that rumor. Again, I don't know if I had enough time to actually get a video out on some kind of theory or whatever, but that would be a lot of fun. If you guys don't know what Mason's talking about here, by the way, the rumor for Final Destination 6 is that the opening scene is going to happen on one of those like rotating restaurants on top of buildings, which there's some like hotels that still do this. There's not a ton of them. I've been to, the only reason I know is because there's one right on the border of Ohio and Kentucky that I went to one time, and it is very weird and very cool. Like you're literally, I mean, you spin very slowly, but if during like a meal, let's say, you'll probably spin around 3 times and see like the entire view of like a city or wherever one would be located. So to do an entire Final Destination 6 style opening scene there, I think there's a lot of potential for, you know, people flying out of windows and just, I mean, like in a restaurant, there's so many ways you could die. Oh my God. I mean, we're actually going to see something like that unfold in The Monkey in just like 2 weeks here. So that's already been teased to us in the trailer. I'm excited to see if something like that does end up happening. Would be a lot of fun for sure. There's so many videos to make, so little time. Can you give us a small list of around 5 horror movies you'd suggest to non-horror movie fans? That's a really good question. A small list of 5 horror movies for non-horror movie fans. What's a really good like gateway into horror that's maybe not too scary? You know, maybe something that you could just like casually watch and not have nightmares after. I mean, you got to have a little bit of nightmares if you're watching horror. Let's be real. but what are some fun movies to just get into like a lot of the genres with? I could not recommend A Nightmare on Elm Street more. To me, that original film is very campy and goofy in a lot of ways, but it's just, I think it captures all the fun energy of the 80s. Like if you want a movie that's just like, what encapsulates the vibe of 80s horror the best? I feel like the answer to that question is easily A Nightmare on Elm Street, which a lot of great contenders for sure. You know, The Thing, The Fly, maybe even The Shining, but that fits more like a 70s vibe, even though it came out in the 80s. But I would say Nightmare. Nightmare on Elm Street has like the campiness and the campy goofiness and a little bit of the scary stuff. It hits a lot of those tropes. That's a really good one. I'm trying to think of another one. Just like I need 5. Fuck. I got one really good one, and I'm like, where else do I go from here? Another one for a non-horror movie fan that's just like what's a must-watch that you got to see? Probably maybe like Insidious. I think Insidious captures 2010s horror really well. It's a jump scare, so if you can't do that, you might want to skip it, but I love it. I really like The Descent. I think The Descent is a great movie to watch if you want something really scary. Like if you want something like genuinely terrifying that's just like a one-off little story. There's a sequel, but don't worry about it. The Descent is an excellent watch if it's something terrifying. If you want something a little more supernatural and kind of supernatural, goofy, but even like an easy watch too. Evil Dead 2, I think, is another great starting point. And then let's get a 5th in there. Let's get what's a 5th watch? Just like a really good horror movie for someone who hasn't seen a ton of horror. I'm really trying to think. I want to do something fun. Something fun that's not like too crazy of a watch. You know, not like too, like if I recommend Terrifier 2, I'm just blasting you in the face with mace, right? Or a Serbian film. There we go. That's my 5th entry. Watch a Serbian film. It's fun for the whole family. Don't watch. I'm kidding. Jonathan, please don't watch that movie. Lobo Trejo is saying, yo, what's up, Jake? Hope you're doing good, man. Same to you. And your angry looking wolf dog there. I'm scared. feel like that thing's gonna rip my arm off. I'm just kidding. Sky Royston is saying, did you see the Heart Eyes yet, Jake? If so, how was it? I have not. This is one I actually might get an early screening for. And I really hope I do, because Heart Eyes, I'm really excited for this one. This could be a hit. This could be another slasher hit this year, which we've gotten a lot of those lately, man. A lot of the slashers have worked for me just in the last couple of years. So I'm really hoping, Scott, that this one is another banger. Wasn't there another Leprechaun film announced? There was, Kai. There was another Leprechaun movie announced. We haven't had a ton of updates with that recently. I think that was sometime last year, if I'm not mistaken. That one that got announced. That and like a bunch of other weird, just like B horror movie continuations got announced. That and like Leprechaun. Oh, that one. No, Pumpkinhead was the other one that I know they're doing a new sequel for, which really has me excited. I love the first Pumpkinhead. Have not seen any of the actual sequels that do exist though. I love Nightmare on Elm Street 4 Dream Master. Captures that late 80s MTV vibe. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's definitely got a very, very 80s-ness to it. Nightmare on Elm Street was very 80s trendy. Yeah, and that's to me why I feel like if you need a really good like movie to encapsulate everything that was that time period for horror, to me, like Freddy Krueger's first outing, that's just, it's a perfect fit. And then if you like that, the sequels are, I personally don't love the Nightmare on Elm Street sequels, but a lot of people love 3, a lot of people love 4, and I know that 2 has found a following nowadays, which some people look back on that one as well. Which Nightmare on Elm Street 2, it's a really complex film. I have some things I love about it, some things I think are like way ahead of its time, and then there's other things about it where I'm like, I don't know if that story worked for me altogether. But some interesting stuff in the sequel too. Heart Eyes is going to be my birthday gift to myself. Very nice. You have a close to Valentine's Day birthday, I'm guessing, Scott. That's pretty cool. That's pretty nice. I hope you enjoyed this one though. We got Mason Gooding, Olivia Holt, great cast of characters there. That's just the young cast too. We also have Dom Toretto's sister, baby, Fast X. I love it. Little Jordana Brewster in there. Are you excited for that one? Ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know, my girlfriend Madison is sitting next to me, and her favorite movie of all time is Fast X. It is the No. Is that incorrect? No.
That was a waste of my life.
She says that's a waste of her life. Is what she said about that movie. Brutal. Well, that's my favorite film, I should say. Just so you guys, just so I can ruin my own my own reputation here. Fast X is truly the greatest film to ever grace our eyes. I'm sure most people will agree with me. No, you don't. Madison strongly disagrees, but what does she know? No, I'm kidding. Kidding. I'm getting roasted out here. Jack5 is saying, sup, Jake, have you seen the movie Fear from 1996? Fear from 96? No, there was a movie there's a movie from a few years ago called Fear that I saw. I have not seen Fear 1996 with Mark Wahlberg and Reese Witherspoon. I'm going to be honest, I've never even heard of this movie until you just mentioned that. That's crazy. It's got a great cast. Oh my God. When 16-year-old Nicole Walker, Reese Witherspoon, meets 23-year-old Dave McCall at a Seattle nightclub, she falls in love. I don't like how this starts. Wow. I've never had a movie turn me off so immediately from a plot description. Okay, all right, well, I don't know about that one, but yikes. The earlier Fast and Furious films are actually pretty good. And, Lighting Ghost, I do agree with this. Jokes aside about Fast X, the first Fast and Furious, actually a pretty solid movie. Like, genuinely not bad. And the way that it has spiraled off into absolute madness it's truly something that I think is worthy of cinema history, because Fast X is one of those movies where at truly every turn you are questioning, why did they make that decision? And to me, it's so bad it's a masterpiece. That's how I think of Fast X. Like, I'm like, that was actually the wrong turn at every single plot venture or new plot direction. It's I don't know, it's fascinating. I could start a whole new channel just on the Fast and Furious franchise, but I will spare you guys of that, I promise. Jake, February 2nd, Groundhog's Day is your birthday. Ooh, okay, that's interesting. So maybe, you know what would be a good watch for that day would be probably something like Happy Death Day would be fun for Groundhog's Day. You know, it's basically a horror parody of the Bill Murray movie, kind of just going through the loops of a little time loop with a killer coming after you. That would be fun. But happy super early birthday, because it's still like what, probably we're 2 weeks, a little under 2 weeks out actually, because your birthday's on a Sunday there. So happy kind of early birthday there, Scott. Exciting stuff. Fear rocks. I think Reese Witherspoon's first movie, Mark Wahlberg, is terrific. I'm scared of the plot description. Jack 5 is saying it sounds shit, but it's an entertaining movie that reminded me of Netflix's You. You know what? Maybe I'll give it a chance. That plot description really was like, oh shit, that is not the way to. That's not the way to reel in an audience, I think. But we'll see. You know, well, hey, maybe it rocks. I don't know. I've never seen it. You know, don't judge a book by its cover. Most underrated found footage horror would have to go to Grave Encounters or the McPherson tapes, is what you're saying. Great, excellent choices, Screenlight. Oh my God. You want to talk about two movies that just simply don't get enough love. It is absolutely both of these. So I got to start with McPherson tapes here, because this is one that I think most people probably haven't heard of. Grave Encounters, it's a little more popular. You know, I feel like that one, maybe some people have seen. The McPherson tapes, it's like this super early version of found footage. Like it's isn't it like late 80s, early 90s or something when this movie came out? And it's a found footage movie from that time period. And it's just about like aliens breaking into this family's house. And it's really simple and subtle. But man, it's creepy. I really like the McPherson tapes a bunch. Definitely, if you're someone who loves found footage and you haven't seen this one, it kind of pioneered the genre a little bit. Highly recommend watching it a bunch. And then Grave Encounters is one that it's from like the big found footage boom after like Paranormal Activity and all that, same time period. And I just don't think it gets enough love. It is a super creepy movie. Honestly, one of the most terrifying from that time period, in my opinion. I think it's even scarier than a lot of like the big hits from the time. And it all comes down to the like the situation that it creates, which to me is like, it's kind of one of those movies you got to get past the first 20 minutes. You know, you gotta get through the setup and the exposition, and okay, these characters are a little stale. You know, we've been through this kind of horror movie like 1,000 times here in the present, but you get through that and it's genuinely one of the scariest found footage movies you can find. Grave Encounters, an excellent film with an even more underrated sequel, in my opinion. And fun fact, Grave Encounters 2 highly inspired the Scream fan film on this page, Red Right Hand. So really enjoy both those movies. Was convinced it was real growing up. So good for the time. Fuzzy aliens are... Yeah, they're fuzzy, too. I remember they are a little fuzzy, aren't they? Yeah, no, it's scary. Like, again, it's one of those movies like Blair Witch where it feels so real that it's like, maybe this actually happened, you know? You might be able to convince somebody who didn't know any better. It's definitely one of those situations for sure. I really enjoy it. Again, if you can appreciate early found footage like that, I think you could get into something like that. But I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, Erica, I'm so sorry to disappoint. I still haven't watched this fucking movie yet. I need to sit down and watch it because I love. You know how much I love found. Erica, I feel like every stream I bring up how much I love found footage horror. I love it. Like, it is one of my favorite subgenres of horror. It does so much for me, and I still have not seen this one, a found footage horror movie release from last year, which it's too late now, but there's so many 2024 horror movies I wanted to talk about and I just never got around to. Some really good found footage that just didn't end up making my top 10 list for whatever reason, one or the other. But there's this movie called Frogman, which Frogman fucks, dude. Like, if you have not seen Frogman, that's such a fun watch. Another slow burn, but like the last 20 minutes are so worth your time. So, ooh, Frogman. It's awesome. Devin, I gotta watch this one though. That's why I laughed, because I knew you would say no. Damn it. All right, Erica, I'm making it happen. I'm making it happen. You know what? I'm finding it tonight. You hear that, Madison? We're watching JWoww's goddamn horror movie tonight. We're doing it. Making it happen. I'm going to find that movie if I can, Erica. I don't even care if I got to pay for it. Bren F, what's up, fella? I love your profile picture. That is sick. Little trick or treat references all over that. Nice. Love the channel. I love you too, dog. Are you looking forward to 28 years Later. Genuinely, my number one most anticipated movie of the year. I think it looks awesome. Big thing about this movie, it had a very strong trailer. Even though, like, you know, I was a little skeptical going into it. Biggest thing about it to me that I don't think I was loving before I saw the trailer was that they announced it was going to be a full trilogy before the first movie even came out, which, you know, don't get me wrong, 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks, both very strong films in my opinion. I really like them both. But whenever you kind of put the cart before the horse like that, I always just get a little worrisome. I'm also thinking about, you know, a lot of these planned trilogies that have failed at this point. Majority of them so have. Like The Exorcist Believer is now being reworked into something else. The Strangers is also had to get reshot with Chapter 2 because there was so much discourse about the first one. A lot of these projects have not panned out. But after seeing that first trailer, and the way that they're marketing this movie, they're making it really, you know, suspicious and creepy. I have a lot of faith in it. So I think 28 Years, this one's going to rock. I really think this one's going to rock. It's going to be a fun movie. But I'm really hoping that it's as good as that trailer made it seem to be. That's maybe my only worry right now, but I'm really hyped. If it's anything like the first two movies, I think it's going to fucking rock. And we got Danny Boyle and Alex Garland working on it again, just like the original film. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be awesome, Bren. So, dude, thank you so much for stopping by. Appreciate you for being here. I don't know if you're new or if you're just joining the live stream for the first time, but welcome. Welcome, my friend. Sage Rodriguez, I almost butchered that name, so sorry, Sage, saying Damian Leone said that the fourth one will not be at another time jump. Besides, it's going to pick up where the cliffhanger left off, and Sienna is going to travel to the underworld to rescue her cousin. So then maybe the New Year's Eve setting then. Some people, man, I put that video out today, and some people, I cannot believe the response that I've already gotten to that video. So many people do not want a holiday setting for Terrifier. And I don't know, to me, like, it's not that I don't think Terrifier needs it. You know, I definitely don't think Terrifier needs a grand, maybe like a big gimmick to work. It doesn't. But to me, the Christmas setting lent itself to some of the best moments from that last film. I would hate to see, you know, Terrifier 4 be absent of stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm really not against this Valentine's Day idea, which was kind of like one of the focal points of today's video and why I even made the video in the first place. Easter, I think, would be such a fun setting for Art the Clown. But then again, you know, maybe it's expected. Maybe it's one of those things where after Terrifier 3, we're just expecting a holiday setting. And I, you know, speaking from a creative myself, I wouldn't want that for a project that I have upcoming. You know, I wouldn't want people to be talking about it online and being like, and just saying exactly the same things that were going through my head. That's no fun. So I can imagine Damien maybe is seeing a lot of us speculate on what the holiday is going to be next. Talk about, you know, what's Art the Clown going to dress up as next? What theme are his glasses going to be in Terrifier 4? But maybe he brings it back to basics. You know, I think I'm not against that either because Terrifier works at its basic level too. I do want to make a follow-up video to that one because, again, I'm pretty shocked by the response. I really thought people liked the holiday setting, but I guess not, which is interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. It's always cool to see people's reactions. It gives you a different way to look at something. So I'm actually quite excited to do a little follow-up video to that. Currently, JPR is currently watching 28 Days Later. Can't wait to watch 28 Weeks Later next. Nice. What are you, Jake? What are you? A man or a mouse? What are you, Jake? Looking forward to most in the future installments of the 28 Days Later franchise. What am I looking forward to the most? I'm really excited to see this version of zombies, infection, whatever, come back. To me, it's like one of the scariest things ever. I have like a crazy irrational fear of zombies, especially running ones. I don't know what it is, but they scare the fuck out of me. Like even, you know, I was talking about found footage, how much I love that. With with zombies, I'm probably even more scared of them. Most zombie movies I watch that are even remotely effective just really work for me for whatever reason. Just the idea of like rotting corpse monsters running at you like at a million miles per hour, so hungry, trying to rip you apart. Like, it's not something you can reason with or talk to. Like, literally the only thing you can do in that situation is run or try to bash them in the head. And that is so scary to me. I love shit like that. So movies like 28 Days Later, Train to Busan, trying to think what else is a really good example. I mean, even slow zombies too. A lot of the Romero movies scare the fuck out of me. Just the idea of anything that's going to be so relentless the only thing they're going to focus on is literally biting into your flesh. That is so scary to me. I fucking love it. So 28 Days Later really works for me. 28 Weeks has a lot of awesome stuff, even though I think the original is a little stronger of a film. I still love them both. And I think that this new one, I'm hoping that it also tells a really good story, because I think that's why I go back to 28 Days as much as I do. That most of the story is excellent. I don't know if I love everything with the soldiers in the third act, but most of the story I feel like is very well done, very well executed. And I'm really hoping to get some more of that here in 28 years. But I do love this franchise so much. I hope they do it justice, even though I already know that they're retconning the cliffhanger ending from the sequel, which is like, what? Like, that's why I want to continue. That's half the reason I want a continuation, which is nuts to me. Jake, do you like the band Deftones? I do like Deftones. I will say, I think I listen more to like Korn or Tool or I'm trying to think another, like Static X, Ministry, like maybe more stuff like that. I have gotten into a few Deftones stuff. I don't dislike them. I guess I just haven't listened to them as much as a lot of the other bands that are kind of in that same metal-ish genre, right? So I really do love a lot of 90s heavier stuff. A lot of heavier stuff that came out of the 90s is typically my favorite thing to listen to. So Deftones, I definitely put them on a lot. A lot more now than I did back in the day. I appreciate them as a band much more. Ever since I got into Tool, too. I think I like Deftones even more. Can we expect another horror short film from you very soon? God, I hope so. We have an idea for something that we might put out this year, and I don't want to say what, but something that Connor, my writing partner, is focused on. We might put something out from him if we're able to do it, because the other thing with Chicken Man is that cost me $2,000 of my own money to put out that little passion project. That was tough. That was a result of saving up for an entire year. And then filming, writing, filming, producing a whole short film, and then putting it out. I mean, that was a 2-year project, basically, all in that 10 minutes. So I don't know if I do another horror short film, I would want to do it cheaper and something that doesn't absolutely break the bank for me. So maybe I can figure that out with making more, hopefully sometime soon. I would love to make some more. We have so many ideas for horror shorts. I mean, just this past week, Connor and I challenged ourselves to write a short film, and we both pretty much have something done at this point, which both stories were like, these are cool. Like, I wish we could film these. But yeah, I don't know. What I will say is that we are still writing. We're still coming up with ideas, and hopefully we can add more stuff to the catalog over there sometime soon. We're thinking about, and last thing, I promise I'll get to other stuff, but we are thinking about doing like revisiting some old projects and tuning them up a little bit, like just doing something, having a better edit with it. Like even Red Right Hand, I'm like, there's stuff that I would want to fix about it now that I'm like, we could so do that better. We could so do that better today if I just did this, that, and the other. We're just a lot more experienced now. We've grown a lot more as filmmakers behind the scenes. So I would love to sharpen some of these things up if I can find the time to do it, because it's a lot. It's a lot of sitting down and just editing and working and grinding things to be to perfection, essentially. Oh, and this is Jack 5, 100%. Another fucked up, terrifying zombie-ish movie is The Sadness. Yes. Ooh, The Sadness is fucked. I would even go so far as to say this might be too fucked for some people, but I really enjoy The Sadness. This is a movie that goes from 0 to 100 in like one scene, and it does not stop the rest of the movie. But I liked The Sadness. I had a good time with it. The middle part is definitely the best part of the whole movie, but yeah, no, ultimately some good stuff there. Jake, I've been avoiding the second companion trailer like the plague, going into it as blind as I can. Well, I won't say anything about Companion if you haven't seen it yet. But I personally, I'm not totally turned off to Companion, but I am pretty upset that I saw that second trailer that just gives you everything there is to know. Live in the mystery as long as you can, my friend. That's what I'll say, because that first little teaser was perfect. That's all we needed. That is simply all we needed to come to the theater. I was sold on that alone, and they've done too much. They've simply done too much. 44-4G is saying, thinking of going to see Nosferatu alone tonight before it comes out on digital. See it in theaters. See this one in theaters. That's definitely one to see in theaters if you can. Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't miss that one. That's a really good theatrical experience. I will say. I'm sure it's going to be a lot cozier, to watch it at home, but I'm telling you, that's going to be a really fun one to see in the theaters if you can. Terrifier is not a cash grab like the Friday sequels. That's brutal. That's brutal out here. I like the Friday sequels. I mean, I know they're kind of just the same thing every time, right? But they're fun. They're fun movies. Some of them really suck, and some of them are actually like really creative. And it's like, wow, they thought to do some extra shit here. I appreciate that. So I don't know. A lot of not most, but a lot of the Friday sequels I think are at least fun to watch at their core. Revolutionary idea for Terrifier 4. Sienna's dad is actually Santa Claus. That's the twist we never saw coming. It was actually Santa the whole time. Not the guy from the Lost Boys that we just keep seeing. No way. What are your thoughts on Steve Welsh films? Killer Goats was a letdown, but Fog City was great. Always support indie horror, whether it's good or eh. Man, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if I've seen any Steve Welsh films, Corey. Damn, is this a blind spot for old Jake here? Well, you're not talking about the YouTuber Steve Welsh. I'm like, wait a minute. I looked this guy up and I'm like, I know this fella. He makes a lot of cool videos. I'm looking it up. Okay, it's a different guy. I'm gonna be honest. I have not seen any of his movies. Maybe I'm looking at a different. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into this. I have to look into this fella. Don't know any of his movies. I'm gonna be real. I love indie horror though, Corey. That's a big thing for me. A lot of the weirder, more underground stuff tends to really work for me. I think that's where we get a lot of our most original ideas in the modern day. He made Muck. I've heard of Muck. I feel like I've heard someone say Muck here, and a few indie movies. Definitely check them out. Okay. A great question, Corey. You stumped me there. I'm definitely gonna have to check some of those out. Because yeah, I mean, again, I can't stress it enough. I feel like I see a lot of these indie horror movies try these super original ideas, and then you'll go sometimes. Then you'll go back to a new continuation, a new sequel, and you'll be like, well, that's just more of the same. What? Like I was kind of hoping that this movie would do something else, even in movies that come from that are like blockbusters from these bigger studios. You'll see them just kind of do stuff that you're kind of like, that's kind of just this movie that I saw like 2 years ago. It's kind of the same thing. What's up with that? Jake Boss, who has a much cooler beard than I do, is saying, I remember Matt from Demolition Ranch and Alex Zedra made a zombie movie some years ago. I think it was on Prime Video. I think the movie was called Strand 100. Interesting. Ooh. I'm always down for zombie movies, even the bad ones. And trust me, I've seen some bad ones. So I'm always down to see them. I'm always down to give them a watch. Lot of fun stuff there. I would love to make a zombie movie one day. That would just be so much fun. Unbelievably fun. What's your thoughts on the Friday the 13th remake? I really like it and think it's the best Friday the 13th film. Hot take, I agree. Hot take, I 100% agree. I think the most competently made Friday the 13th film is the remake. Which, way to end that franchise on a high note, man. Tell you what. I don't know what's going on with Friday the 13th. We almost had a series get made. I don't know. I want to see something come from it. I want to see a new movie. I want to see a new series. At this point, I'll take whatever. Even though I do think a film is the best route to go at this point. I would just love to see something. Something come from Jason. What about you, Jake? Would you be down for a possible Art the Clown versus Victor Crowley crossover, maybe? With how popular Terrifier is, again, I can totally see something like Victor Crowley coming back. I will say I tried to watch the Hatchet movies, and so I've had so many people say that they're just like Terrifier. It's basically the same thing. I don't know. I guess I just wasn't as crazy about Hatchet as I was Terrifier, Art the Clown. I think the biggest thing for me too is there's just so much. There's so much story elements in Terrifier. That's what I love so much about that franchise. There's so much mystery and so many questions I still have. I could talk about Terrifier all day, and I don't know. I guess I just didn't have a whole lot of questions in my brain when I was watching the Hatchet movies. Excellent kills. I mean, some Terrifier level kills. I see the comparison there, but to me, if Art the Clown, if the only thing he had to offer were just some unique, over the top kills, I don't think I would be into the franchise as much as I am. There's so much more to Terrifier that intrigues me. I love all the different themes and crazy elements that we've now implemented into the franchise. What the fuck is Art the Clown? We have no clear answer, even though we have some hints at things. And that to me is so exciting. I love that. I could see these two characters fighting in a versus movie if we got to that point. But I'll tell you what, the next versus movie we probably get is going to be a new Alien versus Predator Sage. So I'd definitely keep your eyes out for that. I mean, Fede and Dan Trachtenberg they're already talking about it. So we might get a new one of those very soon here, and I can't wait for it. Very down for that. A few more questions. I think old Jake is going to sign off a little early tonight. Got a few more things I gotta get done with the work day. I don't actually do anything with my day besides work. Fun fact. I wake up, I work, I sleep. That's it. I'm kidding. Scott Royston is saying far from the best Friday the 13th film. Part 2 and Part 6 were the best. The whole jacket look sucked big time. Part 2, I love Part 2. I love Part 2 so much. It's probably the one that I think is the most probably the most I love the story of it. I feel like if there's a story that resonates with most people from Friday the 13th, it's Part 2's the most. The idea that, you could pretend to be his mom and kind of trick him. I feel like that's something that has kind of wiggled its way into Friday the 13th parody. So is Friday Part 2 and Friday Part 4, I feel like are the quintessential Friday the 13th movies. And 4 maybe even more than 2 because you don't have the hockey mask in Part 2. But Part 6, I think it's really funny and the goofiness about it works for me, but I don't know, not a whole lot else does, which is maybe my hot take about the Friday the 13th series is I love Part 6, but I don't know if it's the absolute indefinite best one. The remake to me is the most competent. It's the most competently made. It feels like a full, big, over-the-top slasher film with a complete story from start to finish. I also there's a lot of things about the Friday the 13th remake that I feel like really surprised me even every time I come back to it. I love that the opening scene is basically just a big short film. It's almost like a short film that you could have just seen on YouTube. It almost feels like one of the Friday the 13th fan films that we get today. And it's kind of a big thing I love about it, honestly. I know some people maybe don't love the extended opening, but I think it's sick. It's a great way to start off the movie. It's almost like getting two films in one in a weird sort of way. And then it also does end up influencing the plot. It's just, I don't know, the remake is the most thought out movie too of all 12 films, without a doubt. Even though I think there are elements to Part 2, Part 4, Part 6 that are the most iconic, right? That started it. That started the love for this franchise. I don't know. For me personally, the remake, in terms of story, in terms of even characters, which I hate to say that because there are some bad characters in that remake, I think I just simply like the best from the whole series. Even though, yeah, there's elements to Part 6, Part 2, Part 4 that the remake does not have. And Scott really just does not like the jacket look. Not a fan. How do you feel about survivalist Jason? He's kind of running around setting traps. That's not really kind of a departure from his characterization and in previous entries. He's kind of just slow and steady wins the race is kind of Jason's mentality. He heard that story at a young age and it just stuck with him his whole life. He's like, you know what? That she might be running away from me after I tried to slash her head off, but I'm going to take my time. I'm going to get there when I get there. So I'm curious how you feel about that, a running Jason. They should have had the opening go a bit longer with his mom, do a little more with the mom. Okay, I hear you. I do kind of like that they summed up the first movie all in that one little black and white flashback though. I actually kind of like that. It's we're skipping over that just to get to Jason. Let's get to Jason. Are you familiar with the comic Jack / solid horror comic? No, I don't know this either. There's a lot of good horror, a lot of good horror comics, and what was the other thing? There's I don't even know what it's called, like online lore, essentially, that I think is really cool. SCP, I think it's like the SCP Foundation, something like that. I've read a little bit about that, and it's really interesting. It's like just this idea that there's like some sort of government facility that holds all these like weird creatures. And it's really fascinating. If you do a deep dive into that kind of shit, it's really cool. But good stuff there. Hack slash is what it's called. Hack and slash. I feel like I've heard of that. Actually, that sounds familiar. Now that you got it right. I'll have to look more into that. I remember I got a few horror comics laying around. I had the Conjuring one that I read through once, and it was fun. I was like, okay, that's cool. Hey, rock on. But there's a lot of cool comics of a bunch of horror properties, stuff you might not even know exists, which is nuts. There's a bunch of like Alien and Predator comics too, which I know I've seen at like comic shops before. All right, final question, and then old Jake I think has got to sign off. Jake, who do you think is the most underrated Ghostface killer from the Scream franchise? It's Mickey, without a doubt, baby. Mickey has the most interesting motive, and they just didn't want to make a whole movie about it. is how I feel with Scream 2. I don't know. I just think Mickey's motive, it still resonates today. I think it's one of the most of the times motive that works really well with the character. And they just have Mrs. Loomis shoot him in the face. I'm like, I wish Mickey got to do more. Maybe my biggest complaint about Scream 2. Mickey is a perfect killer for a Scream movie, and they just didn't do a whole lot with him, I feel. So, love Mickey, though. Wish we got more of him. Timothy Olyphant's performance is also fantastic. And one more thing before I sign off. I feel like Mickey's performance before he gets revealed as Ghostface is really good too. Like you really don't expect him. He plays the quietly surfing my way through all this bullshit without anyone noticing me. He plays that really well. He's very incognito. I like that about him. Okay, but anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I will likely be live again tomorrow night if I'm able to. So stop on by and talk a little more horror then. We're going to be watching The Prowler Wednesday night. So definitely stop on by if you want to become a member and hang out during a members only stream. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're watching a slasher movie that I think deserves a little more love. Definitely give it a watch if you can be there. And again, this Friday I will have a review of Presence out. So definitely go check out Presence this weekend, and then check out the review on Friday morning sometime, or sometime after Friday morning if you see it Friday night or Saturday or whatever. Lighting Ghost is throwing another super chat out there too. Thank you for the 5, my friend, saying happy birthday to the GOAT, Evan Peters. No, wait, it's Evan Peters' birthday. Okay, rock on. Well, happy birthday, Evan. Thank you all for stopping by. Lighting Ghost, thank you for the 5, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all. Peace out.